Thank you for staying with us, everyone. The APC in Osun State has scheduled its governorship primary for December 13, 2025, ahead of the August 8, 2026 poll. In the meantime, the elders caucus of the APC in Osun State on Friday advised governorship aspirants on the party platform to exercise patience in obtaining the prescribed forms for the 2026 election. About 13 aspirants have declared their interest and are reportedly seeking the party's ticket. Meanwhile, Senator Oralusi has become the first APC aspirant to pick up the party's 50 million nomination and expression of interest forms for the 2026 election. For the second time, let's speak with one of the aspirants, Babatunde Oralusi, Chairman, Nigerian Capital Development Fund, as we focus on politics and governance in Osun State ahead of 2026. Mr. Oralusi, good evening to you. Thank you for joining us on Politics Tonight.
Good evening. And thanks for inviting me.
Thank you so much. So when do you intend to get your nomination and interest form? I mean, to show some level of seriousness.
Well, yes. Well, we're waiting for the directive of the elders caucus, like you mentioned. I've been advised to be patient a bit, for them to have a certain consultation, and we'll be advised further. I believe strongly what the elders are trying to do is to make sure that we are not divided, regardless of who becomes the final candidate of the party that will represent the party at the general election. So I'm sure they're trying to do everything possible to make sure that there is no tension, and they pre-qualified people will eventually be allowed to pick their nomination form. We've had sort of an interview with the subcommittee, and I'm sure they will be giving back the reports, and the decision will be taken at that point. And I'm sure the people can then pick up their nomination form.
Well, Senator Oralusi has gotten is he not part of those who were asked to hold on? While the elders caucus make some further consultation?
Well, I think he picked it up earlier before the announcement of the elders of the party. My thinking is he picked it up a day earlier than the announcement.
Okay. But
whatever the case may be, I'm not sure really, but I think that shouldn't be a problem. They did not stop people from picking nomination form. I think it was an advice for the purpose of love and peace. So I think there's also issue of fundamental right here, where the franchising members from being able to pick up their forms. So I'm not sure it is a rule that you can't pick up a form. It's just an advice that let's come together, harmonize, have some level of work before you pick up the form, so that we are not divided at the end of the day. So it's an advice for me. That sounds good.
Yes, it sounds good. But I'm also wondering, 50 million naira. That's a lot of money. Don't you think that's a lot of money to waste when it looks like the party may, opt for indirect primary?
Well, yes, but again, the party expected that if you're going to be running for governor, you must have a level of capacity, particularly financial capacity, to take some certain responsibility. So I believe strongly that that is why for me, I think it's part of pre-qualification to know that you have what it takes to be able to finance your election as well, because obviously you're going to buy materials, you are talking about campaigning in a state of over roughly 4-5 million people. So you must be able to have a level of financial capacity to be able to take such a role. So for me, I believe that it's just a way of testing your financial capacity, that you can really stand for the election.
All right. Let's talk about the issues. First, about 2.3 million Nigerians have so far concluded their registration at the end of 12 weeks of this ongoing CVR, and this is according to INEC. Your state, Osun, tops the states with the highest number of eligible voters, with over 100,000 adults registered. Very impressive, but how will you engage young people who dominates the new CVR numbers to not just register, but also remain politically active and vote at the end of the day?
Sorry, the network is a bit fluctuating. Can you repeat your question? I'm sorry.
All right. I was asking you about the new numbers from INEC, about 2.3 million. Can you hear me now, Mr. Oralusi?
Yes. That
So
the 3 point people registered, yes.
2.3 million Nigerians have so far concluded their registration at the end of the 12 weeks of the ongoing CVR. So INEC, according to INEC, Osun tops the state with the highest number of eligible voters, with over 100,000 adults registered. So I'm asking you, how will you engage young people who dominates the new CVR numbers to not only register, but also remain politically active and vote at the end of the day?
Yes, that is exactly what we're doing, because I've always been saying this, that Osun State have a lot of educated voters, particularly where I'm from, is Ife. They are very educated voters, and the youth are also very educated. So personally, I have a program for the young generation, which is called the Next Gen Progressive. It's a platform in Osun State mobilizing youth, and it's a bipartisan group. It's a bipartisan platform, and building capacity, doing community engagement, and also taught them how to be responsible within their community. Teaching them about leadership. So through this, we are growing every day. And also through this, personally, I've been able to get over 10,000 people registering with INEC as the new voters, and over 10,000 people also becoming member of APC, because that wasn't the structure before. The younger generation, they have their own, what you call Gen Z. So there's a very new strategy to engage them, for them to be able to participate. And I believe in community engagement a lot, and people's participation in their own development. So through this strategy, through this group, we've been able to mobilize quite a number of youths, and they are growing on a daily basis. I normally personally have online program with them 4 times in a month, and 1 time in a month a physical program at the state headquarters, Shobo, where we discuss about everything and how they will also be responsible within their community, and why it is very important for them to participate in election, because they have to determine how their future is going to look like. A country, any society that does not engage or build their youths, I have no future as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I've been engaged in this, and it's really going well. So before the election, I'm sure through the Next Gen, we will be able to do over 1 million people on the platform who will be the next generation of leaders. Not about me or not about this election, also preparing them also for future election, and making them also be responsible within the community. Recently, many of them, they are identifying bad schools, bad roads, bad hospitals, children without uniform within their community, and trying to find something to do for them. So I'm really excited about the project of the Next Gen, and it's really doing well at attending to the youth's needs in Osun State.
And in all of my conversations about local government administration in Osun State, one thing I've held on to is that under past and present administrations, local governments in Osun State have, lacked financial autonomy. What's your view on that?
Yes, that is very sad, because if you go to Osun State, all the roads are very bad. They only focus on small major cities, and the local communities have a bad road, bad medical care, bad schools, no roof. And these are the things that local government can cater for. You don't stay in Osogbo. You see, the one thing is very critical: good governance and division of power, division of which in business you call division of labor. If a local government receives their money, then they can determine what they want to do based on their priorities. But when you take money for the local government and you now tell them, okay, this is what I want you to do, based on the fact, and that might not actually be what they need at that moment. So the bad roads and lack of infrastructure in the state is because we don't have this local government autonomy operations anymore in Nigeria. If we want the growth of Nigeria, one of the major instruments that we need to make sure that it is effective is full autonomy of the local government.
And in retrospect,
every
Mr.
local
Oralusi
government receives their fund.
Right. In retrospect, now, what structural reforms would you advocate to strengthen electoral credibility in your state?
Sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Did you get that? I said in retrospect.
No, sorry, I didn't.
But can you hear me now?
Now, yes, please.
Okay. So in retrospect, what structural reforms would you advocate to strengthen electoral credibility in your state?
To strengthen electoral credibility?
Yes, in Osun State.
Yeah, to strengthen electoral credibility in Osun State is education. And education and people engagement. If people know their rights and people know what they want, they could take a right decision, then the election credibility is not too much of a problem because the people will stand by their vote, the people will be able to vote the right person, and the issue of vote buying and fraud will be limited because it's all about people. You know, the more capacity people have, the more credibility of anything in the society that you're doing. So if we invest in the people, then definitely we'll have a better society. So to be able to have election credibility, proper, free and fair election, we must make sure that people are well educated, we invest in them, advocacy, orientation and enlightenment, and all the other mechanisms that can enhance their capacity to be able to determine what they want for themselves. And that is, for me, the most important thing for electoral credibility, yeah.
And when you came the last time, you know, one particular question I didn't have the time to ask you was your take on how it is time, I mean, when you say it's time for Osun State to complement the federal government's national reforms with local initiatives. According to you, you're very certain that that would transform the state into a productive, modern and prosperous state that contributes meaningfully to the new Nigeria agenda. As it looks, are there areas where Osun needs to go beyond federal reforms?
Regarding, if I understand you well, you're talking about the federal government reform and aligning it with the state's reform. Is that correct?
Yes.
There's no reform going on in Osun State. What's going on in Osun State is purely a conventional way of doing things. But what's going on at the national is mostly new innovations. You know, we have quite a lot of serious reform at the national level, which can only be done by the serious people. In Osun State, what you see is people are building flyovers. There's nothing reform about flyovers. There's nothing new about people building flyovers. But at the national level, you could see cost savings mechanisms. You could see removal of fuel subsidy. You could see some tough decision taking because we want to build not only today, we want to build the future. I saw from CBN this evening how our foreign reserve has been increased. That will strengthen our economy. That will strengthen our naira as well. And that will also be able to increase our credibility in the market. So in Osun State, nothing innovation, not even public enterprise, single public enterprise has been created. So in such situation, there's no comparison and nothing such is going on right now. But I'm sure if we have a new government, APC government in Osun, definitely we're going to be aligning with the great effort of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in terms of the innovation, in terms of the reforms, in terms of building the future of our society, not even only building today, but building future for the next generation that they can. For example, there's no even common job creation project in Osun State. Nothing innovation, no industrial park, no innovation park, no technology park, no agricultural park. Nothing is going on there. So it's purely business as usual, where people create projects. Even another thing for me that giving me concern is the existing projects and the existing infrastructure in the states are not maintained. Roads are not maintained. When you want to build, for example, what they are talking about, they doing flyover, for example, you also have to understand that there's cost attached to maintenance of a flyover in the long term. So when you are building where you need to build a moderate flyover, you now build a gigantic flyover because you wanted to make some income from it. At the end of the day, it becomes a burden. One, you don't need it. Two, you have to now use the same state resources to maintain it in the long term. So those are things that also give me concern, that not only that they is much wasteful, but also creating future problem, because now expenses will increase for future governments looking for money to maintain those flyovers they are shouting they are building. So it's really a very great concern for me personally, because like I told you many times, or the last time, I am more interested in the politics because of development Nigeria and ability to touch the life of the citizens.
All right, sadly we're out of time, but I'm sure
a sustainable society.
Right, I'm sure we'll continue this conversation some other time. The primary election is next month. We'll continue to monitor developments as they unfold. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Babatunde Oralusi is the chairman, Nigerian Capital Development Fund. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.